mean, Riley Cooper, I mean, like, that dude deserves a statue. I mean, like,
number one on your speed dial.
Hey, I'll tell you what, like, I mean, I didn't know until a couple days after the fact. I was like, wait a minute, is he the MVP or like we got the all-tournament team?
No doubt about it.
And then Ty Floyd, when I sure got 17, and like stole it from him. But I was like, when has a pitcher like been a part of like 5 of the 6 wins in Omaha? I mean, what a performance!
Coach, it's great to meet you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you for the time.
Pleasure.
Yes, sir.
Sharp a little late, boys, at the spring game, obviously, as you can see. Couple of booze cruises here to do. Let's do it. Cruise. Grand salami to the boys. Finally back on track. And I got another one coming. Don't you think I don't? And that's how we roll in Tiger Stadium.
Just watching the spring games that were on television, one thing that jumped out about your squad is your quarterback room is very talented compared to a lot of the league and a lot of the country. I wonder, is it easier to recruit that position when you have talent or when you don't have talent? Coach Kelly, we're official.
Finally,
I'm
get a
telling
chance to meet you. Thought I had to get a private audience with the Pope. There's Jordy.
Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time.
Tearing up, answering the question, and I thought, my God, if she gets offered this job, she's going to take it.
It's just a crazy, fun time at LSU right now. Isn't this what everybody loves?
From the boot to the east to the west coast, no matter where we at, we open up the phone lines, come and join the show. Make sure you tell your friends about Jordy Culotta Show, yeah.
Let's go! Let's go!
All right. Nice start.
Big day.
Nice start.
It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time.
Coach, it's great to meet you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you for the time. Welcome in to a Wednesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, live here from our Click Here digital campus. As always, we are built by RMB Builders. Good Wednesday morning to you on what is setting up to be a hell of a slate of a college football weekend. We're going to talk all about it, including LSU visiting Missouri, as the Tigers will be traveling this week to Missouri. We'll have our thoughts on the matchup as always. Remember, you can jump inside of our chat each and every day. If you don't mind, hit that like button, share button, comment button as we get going here live on this Wednesday. Also, reminder, our phone line brought to you by Southern Regional Medical Center. Our friend over there, Charlie Harvey and Jason Ramazan, BJ and the crew, as they help us out every day with the phone line. Packed today. How about former All-American, former stud, punt returner, wide receiver, LSU, big play guy, Skyler Green, going to stop by here at 7:45 this morning. 20 years ago from that LSU Georgia game, last weekend was the 20-year memory, a 20-year anniversary of that game. Of course, Skyler Green with a huge catch that day. Stewie, I know we had that picture from Sports Illustrated that we'll have up, one of the all-time great LSU pictures in the last 20 years when Skyler Green made that catch in front of the student section and him jumping up.
Hop up.
And
even that was
celebrating.
athletic.
It's one of the all-timers. I know Stewie will pull that up here when we talk to Sky coming up at 7:45 this morning. Then also, as always, we'll talk to JD. Jacques will be here at 8 o'clock this morning. We'll talk to Jacques about what his thoughts are heading into another college football weekend. Shay Dixon had a great write-up over at On3. Our friends over at On3. Remember, you can find Shay and the crew over there, and you can read his work on Twitter at Shay Dixon. Had a write-up specifically about the 5 players that should be playing more on the defensive side of the ball. We'll obviously talk a little bit more about that coming up on today's show as LSU gets set for another week of action coming up here. So make sure to hit that like button, share button, comment button if you don't mind as we get going here on this Wednesday.
Best day game of all time? LSU Georgia?
Absolutely. I don't think you can argue that. I mean, that is.
I'd say 03 and 2018.
Yeah.
Those are 2 pretty good games.
Yeah. The Joey B coming out party 2018, and then obviously the Skyler Green catch. He seemed to show up in some big moments, huh?
Was that the
national title?
Was that also the?
Yeah, it's Corey. That's
Corey
it.
Webster?
Look, there it is, right there.
Mm. That place was on fire.
It was as electric of any football game I've ever seen in Tiger Stadium. That 2003 LSU Georgia game. They put DJ Shockley into the game in the third quarter, and that place had another level of like loud.
Which I don't want to be here.
I mean, he was literally like trying to run out of the stadium. He was trying to run off of the field. Lavalade like chased him down.
Yeah, you almost Dan Orlovsky'd it.
I mean, he almost ran literally out of
the back of the end zone.
He was scared to death when they put him in there. And, I mean, look, rightfully so.
He was a freshman, huh?
Yes, he was a freshman. David Green was the quarterback on that team. That Georgia team was, offensively, they were explosive. And LSU was trying to play a game of keep away that day, really. I mean, they were trying to keep it away from LSU, from Georgia's offense. And they had a big turnover early in the game. Marcus Spears ripped David Green
Did he catch him from behind?
He caught him from behind and ripped it. And was able to turn him over early because Georgia was driving. In fact, I think Will Muschamp told the story that on the opening play of that game, they went all out like on a zero blitz and said like David Green, if he would have looked backside, they would have hit LSU for like an 80-yard
first play of the
touchdown.
game.
But like Muschamp was telling the story, he was like, it was just our thought of the day. Like we were going all out. Like we were that week was different. Jack Marucci tells stories about, we'll talk to Skyler Green about this. I remember Jack Marucci telling the story. He said, and Marucci's a long time, whenever he writes the book, that'll be the book to read around LSU football. He's seen it all. I mean, he's been there through all of it, man. But he, talking about that LSU Georgia 2003 matchup, he told Ross Dellinger, who was at Sports Illustrated at the time, that he knew that week was different because on Tuesday, guys were coming into the locker room, like talking about individual matchups and talking about, the game plan and scouting reports. And I mean, just how locked in LSU was that week. And when you got to the stadium, you could feel it, man. I mean, I still remember sprinting down the ramps of Tiger Stadium when that game went final and just having this feeling of LSU had arrived. Like it was different. It was, I mean, I remember people staying after and tailgating post-game because that was a 2:30 kickoff and staying deep into the night.
Where else would you want to be?
In Tiger Stadium. I mean, it was a magical, magical day at LSU. I still remember them surfing Nick Saban from the LSU locker room up to the ramps of the Maravich Center where College Game Day was wrapping up the day. They were doing their post-game scoreboard show, and Saban was on the set in front of just thousands of LSU fans dancing in the streets. I mean, people were literally, it was football Camelot that day in Baton Rouge. And Skyler Green was one of the huge players in that backdrop. He'll be here at 7:45. We'll talk to him about life now, some of his memories as a Tiger, and, of course, his thoughts on this year's team as LSU will be taking off to Missouri. And look, when you look at this Missouri game, we were talking about it coming into the show this morning and just kind of reading up on it. This is identical to what last week's game was with Ole Miss when you look at this game on paper. Missouri's got a potent passing offense, has a terrible pass defense. LSU's got the best offense in the country, and they might have the worst defense in the country. It literally could be, again, who has the ball last. And, you know, from LSU's standpoint, offensively, I mean, the numbers are almost embarrassing how good LSU is offensively, just to rattle off a couple of them. They rank in the top 10 nationally in 6 categories. They're number 1 in first downs. They're tied for third in third down conversions at completing those at nearly 57% of the time. They're number 4 in total yards at 551, number 6 in passing with 353, number 7 in scoring at 44 points a game, and number 10 in passing efficiency at a 183.6 rating. Last weekend, they had 513 total yards. Jaden Daniels did. And he joined Rohan and Joe Burrow as the only players in school history to top the 500-yard in total offense in a game. Davey did it once. Burrow did it 3 times.
Oof.
Malik Neighbors ranks number 2 in the country in receiving yards at 625. He's number 5 in receptions, and he's caught a pass in 23 consecutive games. Brian Thomas leads the nation in touchdowns with 8. He's coming off of an 8-catch, 124 performance in 3 scores versus Ole Miss. Neighbors and Thomas together have each gone over 100 yards for receiving in consecutive games. That's the first time in school history the same players have had back-to-back 100-yard receiving games in the history of the program. Right now, LSU's offense is just, on fire. Like I said, I believe LSU's offense to be the best in the country. Really and truly. I think that they can, whenever you need them, they will be there. Like, whenever you're going to need LSU's offense, they're going to show up. Get some game notes.
Oh, wow. They did his homework.
But more is Missouri's offense. Really. When you look at Missouri's offense and their quarterback, Cook, he's not as potent, he's not as good as Daniels is, but he's effective, right? And what's the big wide receiver's name? What's his name?
Luther Burton.
Luther Burton.
And they got Theo Wease from Oklahoma.
The transfer?
They had 2 They had 2 5-stars.
Yeah, they're both 5 stars.
But Luther
Former
Burton,
5 stars.
yeah,
Luther Burton is
for as much
matchup nightmare
and as good as wide receiver play as LSU has seen and the fans have seen around here. Burton's leading the country. He's a guy. So this is a scary matchup again for LSU in the sense of you are taking a limping defense into you're taking them into an arena where this offense is feeling themselves. They are confident. They're playing at a high level, and LSU is
reeling.
They're the ultimate slump buster. You talk about you need a little boat of confidence, or you want to pad some stats right now. Hopefully, you got LSU coming up on the schedule,
and it's still hard to, if you're preparing for LSU, or if you're getting ready to watch LSU, it's still hard to get that in your head a little bit, where you can't hang your hat on it. Not even hang your hat on the defense, but just expect them to show up, because you're not far removed from last year where it was competent. It won you games last year.
Yeah,
and now it is buckle up. Jay Daniels has to throw for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns, and you lose, which just can't happen.
He scored 49 points You got 2 wide receivers go over 100. Your quarterback has over 500 yards of total offense, and you lose the game. I mean, that's gut-wrenching.
Remember the days of watching LSU score 35, 24, 27, and being happy with that. They're scoring 49 and can't win a game.
Can't win. And if you're, like you said, if you're Missouri coming into this game, you're looking forward to playing LSU, and that was never the case. You get an 11 a.m. game at home against a reeling LSU defense, and you feel like your offense can run with them. It's not the fact that LSU's defense is as bad as it is, which helps, but Missouri is already confident on offense. When you have Luther Burden, when you have a senior quarterback, and you get to have that game at home, you're undefeated, by the way. You're
right.
Missouri.
Yeah.
You're sitting in the better spot than LSU is, and LSU's a 6.5-point favorite. Smells, doesn't it? Whew. But if on the flip side, LSU's playing for its life. You can't fake desperate.
Absolutely. Here is Brian Kelly. This is 2 Stewie of him talking about Missouri and the challenge this week that Columbia is going to present for LSU.
And we'll have to go back on the road against a really good Missouri football team. It's an 11 a.m. kickoff. Team that's nationally ranked, so we'll get challenged again on the road against a nationally ranked team. They're well coached. I mean, Eli does a great job coaching both on the offensive side of the ball. I think defensively, they're as well coached as that I've seen. Fundamentally sound. Do a great job in terms of all of the fundamentals, and then they've got some big time playmakers. The quarterback's playing extremely well, highly efficient. Luther Burden is. You put him up there with Malik Neighbors. He's that kind of player. He's explosive. He leads the SEC in receptions, obviously, so he's a game breaker. They're tough and physical on the offensive line, do a great job running the outside zone play action, high percentage passing game. Number 1 in the SEC in pass efficiency. So playing at home, really good offense, excellent system. As I said, well coached defensively. Number 1 in the SEC and 9th nationally in rushing yards allowed per game. So just a really good, solid football team, fundamentally sound in all areas, deserving of their nationally ranking, and will be a great challenge for our football team. But I'm confident our guys will play their best when their best is needed, and we'll go on the road again. Obviously from our perspective, look to play, a complete football game in all 3 phases.
Brian Kelly speaking about the LSU-Missouri matchup. As Lloyd mentioned, Missouri 5-0 on the season, 1-0 in conference. This will be a huge test for Missouri. Their biggest win of the season, Kansas State at home for sure, where they rushed the field a couple of weeks back. But this is definitely a team, as far as confidence built. You can see the confidence growing in them each week as they have really, especially offensively, gotten it going. Remember our friends over at Katie's Restaurant. Katie's is located down on Iberville Street, down in New Orleans. You can find them online at katiesinmidcity.com. Our favorite spot down there if you're traveling to the city this weekend or you're just passing through and you want to pick up a great meal and get a taste of the city, a sense of the city, a feel of New Orleans, you got to stop in to see Katie's. Our friend Scott Craig has done a great job of putting together just a great staff, great menu, great service, and a great spot over at Katie's in Mid-City. They're on Iberville Street. They're online, katiesinmidcity.com. We tell you all the time about the new Sunday hours. If you're looking for a place to watch NFL football, Katie's is a good option. They are located, like we said, on Iberville Street. They got new Sunday hours, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. TVs, 6 new televisions. If you wanted to watch pregame, you can before you get to the Dome, or if you want to check out and stay there for the games I don't know why. Sorry. Or you just want to hang out post-game and check out the slate of games. You can do that all over at Katie's. Don't forget about Francesca's over in Lakeview, their sister restaurant, which is you can find information online as at Katie's as well. So katiesinmidcity.com. The soundbite that we were looking for yesterday was about Brian Kelly, and I believe it was Jacques that asked him about like taking his time, or kind of made a reference to taking his time. And Kelly, you know, he either took offense to that or he just wanted to clear the record like, hey, look, man, I'm not playing with time here. I'm trying to get it done. And so it was, I thought, at least from my point of view, I thought it was a refreshing soundbite to hear, because there is a little bit of, you know, like, hey, man, it's time to get this thing moving. Like, play these guys. Like, get these guys out on the field. Make sure that you're recruiting to the best that suits the program. Here is Kelly yesterday, or this is Monday. talking and answering Jacques' question.
JD.
You know, getting these guys.
I don't have time. Do I look like I've got time? I didn't come down here because I got time. I came down here to be successful with the LSU football program. So, no, we don't have time. That's why we did what we did in the transfer portal, or I would have took all freshmen last year. So there is some management of this, but we'll get them better. We'll get these guys playing better. They want to play better. They've got pride. These guys will respond. They'll bounce back. We lost, I think, 40-something to 14 to Tennessee. I think they were ready to burn the city down. And we came back the next week and beat Florida on the road. So we don't need to all jump off the buildings yet. We're going to be okay. We're going to keep working hard. These guys got a lot of pride in LSU football. Our coaches are going to work hard, and we're going to keep getting better.
See, that's the part that I think is a little different for Brian Kelly. You know, I think that's the SEC version of football that Brian Kelly is, quite frankly, and look, I don't mean this with any disrespect, he's just never experienced that, right? And I imagine that Notre Dame is a bit of a pressure cooker, and I don't deny that coaching at Notre Dame is different than just about any place in the country with the way that it's set up. Right, it's an independent. It's got its own television deal. Even that stuff still matters in the grand scheme of it, in the what really Notre Dame thinks of themselves more than anything.
Right.
But when you get to a school and let's be honest. I mean, LSU is really here to football for school. It's not the way you really recognize it is for its football program. Right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm not here to debate that, but that's just the facts. That it's most well known for its football program. Just look at the way that the money is distributed within the state. I mean, who's the highest paid public official that we have, or public seat? When you're talking about a person that works for the state. I mean, it's the football coach. So when you get down here and there's real question of what's going on. Where is X, Y, and Z in the program, and why is this not happening, or why is this happening? And there's questions to be answered for it. I think that is a little different for Brian Kelly. Referencing people jumping off the building and stuff, like, sure, that's a good way to kind of like water down the scene. But I mean, I think what he's really saying is, like, internally is like, wow. I mean, this is some real serious stuff for people down here. And again, I'm not here to debate whether that is right, wrong, or indifferent.
It's just what people care about.
How much people are passionate, and what the pecking order of football of where it fits in. That's just what it is. And people are going to hold task to that seat of when it looks as if there's a lot of confusion. And I think that's, for Kelly, that's a new piece of it. That's something that he's been through, and I'm sure that it was there at Notre Dame, but it's different. It's different in the league. It's different at a school like LSU that has this just probably a lot of the time unfair expectation.
He's a victim of his own success so far, right, in year two? If you don't win the West last year, if you don't go to the SEC championship in your first year, then you don't have probably the same amount of expectation coming into year two. Where I'll reference this again, where he said he thought it was like a 3-year plan. It's what he wanted to go through. After you go to the SEC championship, you win the West, you beat Alabama at home, you do all of these things, it feels like he changed his trajectory for what the expectations were considering for LSU going into this year. And that's where he's fighting right now. It feels like he's kind of trying to temper a little bit of what you should expect from LSU football because, like you said, they're young. They brought in people from the transfer portal. Did they hit on some of them? Maybe, maybe not. But I think you said he hasn't really been through this before. I think that's why you referenced the Tennessee game. It probably feels very similar to the Tennessee loss, and that was the game at home. But I guess in the Tennessee game, you've never felt like you could prepare for that for 4 quarters. The game was over in the first 5 minutes you played it. This was, you had a chance to win it in the end against Ole Miss and I guess steal one and still continue to move forward and be undefeated in the SEC. Now it's brace yourself because now you have a loss in the SEC. You have to play another conference game against a team in Missouri that's, it probably feels a little bit similar to the Florida game last year where LSU could lose this game, but I think that what he's saying, they're about to get off the mat and show you what LSU is here to do because he's a good football coach.
Oh, without question.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think.
But I just think some people are confused and want to they want to fire Brian Kelly already, and
it's not happening.
It's not going. That's another thing. But I think you have to put a little bit of faith in him.
Enjoy the next 8 years.
He's here for 10 years.
Buckle up. Not going to happen. He's the one that's going to have to, work himself and figure this out. It's just it happens on every team. It happens on every program. It happens within every college football season. You go through adversity.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it happens. That's where you make your team. That's where it happens. LSU's in the midst of it, right? I mean, there's not a lot of people, I don't think, that had LSU losing 2 games in September, right? I mean, it's just adverse times are going to see how they react. I mean, they've got – really, this is great opportunity.
Absolutely.
I mean, is for a college football program to be in this position. This is when you can really kind of make some changes, make some moves to kind of, hang your hat on, make, kind of like where you can point and directly go towards something that changed to really kind of change the mark of it.
Turning point. And I think that bringing it's odd of a move, I guess, but I think bringing in Pete Jenkins is the right thing to do at this point because I think everybody's seen the picture of the defensive line where their alignment is. How they're 3 yards off the ball on the line of scrimmage.
There's pictures from them last year.
Last year doing the same thing. So I think that's easily correctable.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of low-hanging fruit, I think, from a defensive standpoint that you can walk in and, really be like, man, this guy's a hero.
Yeah.
That's all we had to do?
Scoot up.
Get up on the ball.
Scoot up a little bit.
Play number 40. Give 16 some more reps. Get 2 off the field. Play 13. And stick with 2 cornerbacks.
Change the ingredients
just to start real quick. You know what I mean? Let's start there.
I feel like all right,
now, the first 20 minutes of the meeting were good.
Yeah, this is great. Good job, Pete. Because if you could fix that, if you could fix the defensive line, then that takes so much pressure off the defensive backs. You needed one or the other. You couldn't have neither. Right now, LSU has neither. You needed either pressure or you needed the defensive back room to be better. And one way to fix that is to get pressure on the quarterback. They're 65th in havoc rate, which is what you putting the quarterback under duress. LSU has not been doing that, and so if they can correct that and get 4 back to the quarterback, and you start to see 40 in the game a little bit more, you can kind of change this defense up pretty quickly.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, look, like I said, there's no remedy that I believe that you can hit that says you're going to become a top 25 defense overnight.
Just don't be 125.
Right. You just you can't be below 110. You know what I mean?
With a top 5 offense.
I mean,
Jesus.
just
the talent's there.
If you're 30 through 90, you're still giving your you're still giving your program a chance to win a national championship with this type of offense. I mean, really.
You just can't be this bad.
No, you just can't be this bad.
And it's almost hard to be this bad at this point, which that's what gives me hope for maybe you take a long look in the mirror after you give up 55 points and you go, okay.
All right, fellas.
Maybe we should make some changes because it can't just be you can't try out the exact same thing. And like you said yesterday, get a different voice in the room, and maybe that's all it is. It's just like, okay, we've been too close to this. We need somebody from the outside to come in and be like, look, this, and this, and don't overthink it.
Kimberly W., what happens? Would it be crazy if they just literally scoot up on the ball and get a multi-sack game all of a sudden? Like, think about if they come out and they're hovering the line of scrimmage and they have a 4-sack game.
Look like 2003 LSU.
Pete Jenkins go from a consultant to the
The highest paid coach.
$900,000 a year.
I mean, for Pete, that's if you need the money.
I mean,
Great opportunity here.
Pete don't need the money.
I know that, but what happened with him? Did him and Edo have a falling out?
Oh, I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. I do know that he ended up on the Bama staff after he was on the LSU staff, and that can't sit well with
The LSU contingency.
Yeah, that was
It was an interesting time.
that was
I'm
a
not real
crazy
happy,
time.
Pete.
Yeah.
I got
ain't
more
happy with
text message yesterday about, is Jerry Sullivan available?
Oh, of course.
Jeez.
We don't need all the staff of the
Wide
country.
receiver ain't the problem right now, coach.
No.
I mean, I guess he gets credit for Justin Jefferson.
And he should.
He should.
He absolutely should. Jerry Sullivan was high on Justin Jefferson the day he stepped on campus. I mean,
My kind of football player.
There are tales of Jerry Sullivan like telling people
He
like,
was obsessed with him.
like Justin Jefferson's going to be a Hall of Famer.
He's a pro.
Like
And he is.
people were like, huh? I mean, he was like, you don't understand.
They're like
Justin
number
Jefferson's
32.
going to rip up the league. I mean, people were like, Sullivan's lost his mind, man. I mean, like,
He's senile.
Oh,
He's old.
the old man's going crazy.
Justin Jefferson
5
just
years
comes
later,
out
dude,
cutting
Justin
people up.
Jefferson's the most famous football player on the planet.
Just cutting NFL defenses up. Like,
He probably watches every game. I told you so.
I mean,
told
that's
you.
all
said-
I need.
and look, the reason why he said he was going to be great is because of who he is. He was like, he's going to be the best route runner you've ever seen,
And he
he does not drop anything. I mean, he's got a vacuum cleaner for hands.
And he's got youngest brother syndrome.
Yeah, he does.
He does.
He does.
He definitely does.
Did you see him score a touchdown in Buffalo in front of his family?
Yeah.
Yeah, he caught one in Buffalo. Was it? Where were they? No, they were not at Buffalo last week. Where were they last week?
It was Miami played Buffalo. They finally win.
They may have been in London. I don't know where they were, but he caught one, and he is directly in front of
Panthers.
Yeah.
Old man,
Carolina.
mom, Jordan Jefferson standing right in front of him. Ricky's
Ricky?
right in front of him. I mean, the whole crew. I mean, he starts he gritties the whole way to him. he like gritties like 8 yards, 10 yards to him, and like flips him the ball. I mean, it's one of those. I mean, like the whole family's got the phones out. It's
Yeah.
awesome. I mean, it is awesome.
First family of football.
Yeah, they are, man.
We need another one.
For real. Yeah.
The Weeks.
What do you have? Yeah.
Yeah, the Weeks.
Send the younger brother. I hear the younger brother's a dog.
Yes. Class of like 2026. We'll take him.
Don't worry, young buck. They'll play you when you get here.
He's a take.
He's a take, automatic take. I had no idea that Weeks was so country
I didn't either.
until he spoke to the media. It blew my mind.
I mean,
we
he's
can
from
talk to
Georgia.
Jacques about that. Jacques had his mom and dad on.
Really?
Yeah.
JD.
And then he got to deal with Tecovas, the boot company in Baton Rouge, first NIL deal after that accent came out. They're like, oh, I think we have a perfect match.
We got a guy.
Get him a cowboy hat and some boots.
Damn, he can play too.
I can't feel my legs. It'd be nice to get him back out there. I mean, it felt like he did. Obviously, did he get the start? He didn't start,
No.
right? But then once you look at the snap counts, he played a good bit. So it wasn't like he was absent. It was Walmack that was out, didn't play a snap. And
Zero
then
snaps.
Deuce Chestnut didn't travel with the team. So I don't know how much you would credit LaTerrence Welch as like a change, more of outside of necessity.
See, the Womack thing is kind of upsetting to me because he's always on. He's on kick. He's on punt team. He's on kickoff return, and it's like he's not hurt. So it's just
And he
like,
wasn't suspended.
right. So it's just like, okay, we're just not gonna play him.
And that's the other thing that Brian Kelly's going to have to deal with a little bit is people listen to these press conferences. You can't say, hey, we're going to play Walmack more and then not play him more. The first question you're going to get is, where's Walmack? It's hard because especially everything that LSU media and the fan base has been through with the last two coaches, they're just kind of fed up with that, with the lip service.
Talk to it better.
Like Les Miles couldn't talk his way out of a paper bag.
Oh, God.
He could talk his way into one. And then Ed Orgeron just would punch a hole in a paper bag.
He'd tell you everything, but didn't tell you nothing.
And right, so Brian Kelly was the first taste of, okay, this man actually talks to me like, we're all civilized here. And so you would expect to be treated in kind. And so they're listening to what you're saying. If you say Walmack's going to play more, look, he's going to play more, and then he doesn't, it's going to rub some people the wrong way.
Well, you're just going to get asked about it.
You're going to get asked about it.
I mean, you could tell on Monday.
And then don't be upset when you get asked about it.
Yeah, you could tell on Monday. I mean, he was kind of like, like, what's going on here? Like, I mean.
Y'all wrote this down?
I told y'all I was going to tell y'all all about injuries. I've done you guys a lot of favors. Why are you putting me up on, why are you putting my back up against the wall?
Probable, doubtful.
But, I mean, I think that, like I said, that was kind of a new thing for him, right? Like, I think this is something that's new in the sense of where you're like, whoa, this is a lot more serious than it used to be. I think
they, watch out. Yeah, I think they'll go ahead and take care of business against Missouri. Though it just feels like that type of game where it's okay, hold on. Let's, like you said, like nobody jump. Let's go hang 40 on Missouri and get 40-24. Would you take that? Absolutely,
I would take that.
I mean, when you look at what Missouri's done, I mean they've been Middle Tennessee 23-19 at home. Kansas State they rushed the field 30-27. Memphis 34-27. Like, they're playing all close games. And then Vanderbilt, who was trash, 38-21. I thought Vanderbilt would be better this year with their head coach. I feel like they found a guy.
Vanderbilt was dotting them up. Vanderbilt was dotting Missouri up.
So, if you see, if they're giving up almost 30 points a game to these offenses, LSU's going to be able to pretty much have their way, it would feel like, on offense. And I think what gets lost in all of this is how good the run game's been.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, they're complete offensively. I mean, like, it's going to be a hell of a test.
Having an offensive line is awesome.
Yeesh. Yeah. All right, remember, we're brought to you by our friends over at Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. Get in touch with Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works if you need commercial or residential plumbing services today. Call Jude Barker. You can get him on his cell phone. If you want to reach out to him directly at 225-776-2431, 225-776-2431. If you mention the Culotta Show, you save yourself 15% on any job that you need from Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. Holler at Jude today and tell him you heard it right here on the Culotta Show. Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works, 225-776-2431 is the phone number. We're going to link up with Skyler Green here in a couple of minutes and reminisce. One of the all-time great Tigers, really. I mean, Skyler Green was one of those guys that early on, I'll never forget the first time I watched Skyler Green play, and it was in the state quarterfinals his senior season, and Higgins High was playing Catholic High, and my uncle was like, we got to go see this guy play. This cat, he's committed to LSU, and he had a friend who is like just a psychopath about recruiting back in the day. And this was like when you had to like follow it through the magazines, and you had, there wasn't just like, a
website,
20, sites that you could just like type Skyler Green's name in and get his huddle film back.
Yeah, Shea Dixon would walk through that door.
Right, exactly. And so we went and saw Skyler Green, and I remember seeing him in warm-ups, and I was like, what number is he? Or which one is he? Because I forget what number he was in high school. I don't know if he was 5. He might have been. But he was like, he's right there, and you were like, the little one?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, oh, yeah. I mean, like, that's him. And I'm like, man, he's little bitty, right? And he was like, yeah, I mean, but that's the guy. I mean, 3 minutes into the game, you're like, holy
he's got
shit.
some juice.
Like, look at this cat. He could start and stop. This was pre-ankle injury, because we'll ask Guy about this. It was an ankle injury in 2004 that he suffered. I mean, if you remember that national championship season, he ran like he was just different, man. That video clip of him where he brings the punt back against Florida.
I was at that game.
Me too. Is one of the finest highlights. Is Skyler Green is sprinting. He is like got it opened up, and his head is sitting. It's like standing still. It's like just sitting
like a cheetah
still.
running.
I mean, it is like he is just running on water, it looks like. I mean, he is moving at a pace that nobody else can keep up with. Same on the jet sweep in the national championship game. I mean, where he turns the corner on that Oklahoma defense, and that Oklahoma defense in 2003 was like SEC. I mean, they had Derek Strait who could fly on that deep. They were loaded. And Skyler Green turns the corner on them and just runs away from everybody. I don't think he gets touched on that touchdown. And then he had a high ankle sprain his sophomore season, and he was still effective. I mean, I'll never forget the 2005 Auburn game where I believe it was not David Duvall. David Duvall is the
golfer.
But there was a Duvall kicker.
Robert Duvall.
That's an actor.
Yeah.
But it was a Duvall place kicker for Auburn, who I believe was a Groza Award finalist or a winner, missed 5 field goals at LSU. I mean, I'll never forget it. I was sitting right next to Jimbo Fisher's wife, actually. We were sitting like in the coaches section, and she was like MF and everything. She was fun to watch a game with. I'll just never forget. I mean, like she was like so into it. But this cat kept missing field goals and like clanging them.
This was Vaughn.
Was it Vaughn?
Vaughn, was it 99?
No, it wasn't 99. It was 05.
No, I'm saying he was number 99.
Oh, maybe so.
Because I was at this game too, and I saw his mother after the game.
It was crazy.
It was crazy. I think he hit the upright
like three times.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
yes.
whoa. And the place was on fire.
It was on fire. And Skyler Green brought back a punt back that night. And if you've ever seen, I want to say that still to this day, that they broadcast HD televisions. Like when they do HD television promotion within the screen, they use that punt return from that game. Still, like I'm talking about,
like the ESPN.
Still to this day,
they do.
They still use it.
This day.
That is 05. That is a 05 LSU Auburn game, and that is Skyler Green, and that is one of like the all-time Skyler highlights. I mean, like he catches it, and he's like not at full speed, and then he comes out of the pack and he brought that thing straight up the gut.
You want to see a kicker or a punter not come close? It's when he's one-on-one with the punter, he just runs away from him, puts it in overdrive.
It's one of the finest highlights. And this is post ankle. He was not pre-ankle injury. Skyler Green, I'm telling you, is one of the all-time greatest LSU football players on offense we've ever seen.
Electric.
I mean, like I'm telling, he was something different in 03. He was kind of LSU's edition of Reggie Bush, right?
They were starting to use him like that.
He was a Reggie Bush 2.0, right? Like, I mean, it wasn't, and they didn't use him, but it was, if he would have stayed healthy, he was something that nobody else had. And obviously, he made that huge catch against Georgia. Watch his head.
This is the punt return.
No, this is the punt return against Auburn.
Watch him take this thing. Look, cut.
Gone.
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 Yeah, just
crawling at
down. Yeah. Woo. Open it up. Look at this view.
But that's still like an HD.
On the LSU, like, look at this. Like, oh,
a little bubble.
Get into him in space.
All right, we got Skyler Green next here. Make sure and hit that like button, share button, comment button. We're over here at Click Here Digital. We love being a part of the Click Here Digital team. We are setting full-service digital marketing ads for everyone out there. It doesn't matter your service. Get in touch with us, Jordy at clickheredigital.com, Jordy at clickheredigital.com. Adrian Bailey, Aaron Anderson is the comparison to Skyler. If LSU was to use Aaron Anderson like that, yeah, probably so. Probably so. We'll ask Skyler if there is a comparison that he sees coming up next. An all-timer coming up next here on the show. Skyler Green, come back with us right after this. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Thanks.
And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Hey Tiger fans, when you're traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, make sure to visit Tom and Wright Granning at Go Mart and On The Go Deli, where you can fill up your tank and your belly. Go Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need on your trip. Located at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left. Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff, where the Po' Boys are so good you'll swear you're in Cajun country.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
All right, buddy. Make it a good shot.
Oh, yeah.
Sticking the roof in.
For a hole in your roof, or a whole new roof, go roof. Roof, roof, go roof.
Hey, Greg, the roof up?
Roof's up.
Roof's up. Roof's up.
Roof's up.
Roof's up.
Roof's up.
Beautiful roof every single time. True. True.
Phil's Oyster Bar, a staple of South Louisiana since 1945, located in Southdown Shopping Center and online at philsoysterbar.com. If you log online, you can learn about the private party schedule, the catering menu, and even order online. Daily lunch specials Monday through Friday. Learn about the history when Gus Piazza took it over in the early 70s, made it an absolute stop-in for everyone who came through Baton Rouge, and now Anthony, his son, carrying on the tradition. Phil's Oyster Bar, Southdown Shopping Center, and online, philsoysterbar.com.
Let's be special. Let's be strong. Let's smell greatness from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
When law enforcement needed John Stefanski's help,
he stepped up and passed the toughest fentanyl trafficking law in America.
He's always had our back.
As Attorney General, I trust him.
I trust him. I trust John Stefanski to stand with law enforcement
And Louisiana families.
To fight back against violent crime.
I'm with John Stefanski.
I'm with John Stefanski.
I'm with John.
I'm with John Stefanski.
I'm with John Stefanski for Attorney General.
I'm with John Stefanski for Attorney General.
Welcome back here, Jordy Culotta Show, as always, built by our friends over at RMB Builders. Shout out to Rhett and the crew, rmb-builders.com and online. That's where you can find them online, and they're on Instagram at RMB Builders. All right, for my generation of fan, and I turned 43 this week. Skyler Green is an all-timer.
Check this poster behind him.
Skyler Green, for my generation of fan, to me, will live as one of those that's in a different class. I'm getting my balls busted a little bit because I said that he was the LSU edition of Reggie Bush. He was not Reggie. He played at the same time. I mean, he was in college football at the same time. Look at that.
Look at that poster. Let's
Good
go.
Lord. Is that an original? Can I get that somewhere?
That's an original,
okay.
baby.
One of one. That is one of one. Look at him. Look at the legend.
Only one. It's the only one.
Number 5 in your programs, number 1 in your hearts. He was a 2005 first-team All-American, 2006. Went to the Senior Bowl. He was a 2005 SEC Special Teams Player of the Year. Back in 2003, he scored the first touchdown in the national championship game. Just an all-timer.
Yeah.
Skyler Green, it is good to see you, man. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you guys doing? Thank you for having me this morning.
Absolutely. Do you still see the TV ad that runs on HD? When they are promoting HD television, they still use the punt return for Auburn. Do you see that every Saturday?
Yes, I do see it. I do see it. Every Saturday it comes on. I see it.
It's beautiful.
You get residuals for that? You should be catching a check.
Little NIL.
I'm trying to figure that part out right now. How do I get that?
Sky, take me back to this. So you were, the way I kind of look at you is kind of pre-ankle injury, post-ankle injury at LSU. How different was it for you? When did that happen? Because you were still an All-American after the ankle injury, but your game changed. When did that happen?
Most definitely. It happened going into my junior season. We were getting ready in the training camp, and we had our last summer game before that season actually started, and it was a purple and gold scrimmage, and I took one of those jet sweeps in that scrimmage, and I remember seeing the hole open up real big, and I wanted to turn it upfield as soon as I can, and Greg Hercules was the guy that hit me in practice, and my foot was stuck in the ground. I remember it like it was yesterday. And when he tackled me, that left foot was planted in the ground, and I rolled over on it, and it was like that foot stayed in the ground, man, and it was a high ankle sprain, and I played that whole year with that high ankle sprain, and I finished pretty good, but I played hurt that whole year.
And you could. What did you lose? Did you lose the start stop? Did you lose the burst? Because there was something about you that made you special. But when you didn't have it, you could see it. And when you did have it, it was
Most
so
definitely.
electric. What was it? What was the part of the game?
It was the burst. Yeah. I most definitely think it was the burst that I lost a step on when that happened, and it kind of affected my game a lot. And I think if that ankle injury wouldn't happen, I may be a first-round draft pick.
I agree.
No doubt.
No, I agree with that. I think 100%. 100%. All right, so we're reliving a lot of the 03 memories. It's crazy. It's been 20 years, man. That team will be recognized.
20.
I know 20 years coming up. I believe at the Auburn game that you guys will be
Florida game.
My bad. Yep, Florida game. You guys will be recognized.
He's the only one that showed up for that game.
That's right. What is it about that year that you remember? Obviously, everybody remembers the Georgia game, but what was it from you being a part of that team and so integral on that team that stands out to you?
I think the most effectiveness that I played a part in was the punt return, the special teams, and that year I led the country in average per yards per return, and it was something like 18.5 yards a return. I want to say it was, and that's 2 first downs. Just about I was putting the team in position to win games, and I just used to have fun back there. Whenever I catch a punt, I just used to enjoy every chance and every opportunity I got to touch that football in the punt return. It was, if I didn't electrify the crowd, I felt like I didn't do my job.
At what point did you guys feel like you were national champs? At what point did you feel like this team could win the whole thing?
I mean, at the moment, I would probably say really what solidified it was after that Georgia game.
Yeah.
I would say that really solidified the fact that we were going to the national championship after that Georgia game. And I just think, back in that game, we went through a lot in that game, and for us to come out on the other end of the winning column, and that propelled us going into the rest of that season.
He might have been getting a call.
We lose him?
Yeah.
Skyler Green, former LSU All-American, is with us here as We are talking to him live here on this Wednesday edition. Stick around. We'll get Sky back on to reminisce a little bit about that 2003 team. Obviously, the Georgia game is one that stands out. He had such a huge part in that huge catch at the end of it. If I remember the game correctly, he had some huge drops.
Early on.
He could not hold on to the ball early on in that game. And it was almost like kind of like you had to get to, you're almost like, do you pull him out? Mm-hmm. I mean, it was, do you stay with him or do you keep going with him? This is this picture right here. This was the front cover of Sports Illustrated that Monday morning after that game, and that's after the catch. Like if you were to open the fold of the Sports Illustrated, that was the picture that you saw right there. There's so many people. I see Chad Malassaw back there. I see Big Al on the cameras for WAFB back there on his Timbs. I mean, like, that is such an iconic LSU football picture right there. That is just a classic.
He's back. I think
JD hopped in, yeah.
God, dog, Jacques. Will you text Jacques?
I did. Stay out. Go.
Sky, we got you back. Sorry about that, buddy. Sorry about that.
That's okay. That's okay.
Take me back to that Georgia game. Did I tell the story right? You were having a trouble hanging on to it early on, right? I mean, were you struggling?
Yes. That game, I had a catch, and I dropped, and Coach Fisher pulled me out, and he didn't pull me out. He pulled me to the side, and he was like trying to motivate me, get me going, and kind of get my head out of the tank, and. Later on in that game, he still told me, he said, I'm counting on you. And he still believed in me, and Matt Mark still threw me the football. And it was that first deep catch. It was a corner post. And Matt Mark hit me down the middle of the field. And once I made that catch, I just kind of knew we were going to be back in that game. And I knew then that I was ready to make a big play at that point. I just wanted the football at that point. If Coach gave me the football, I knew I was going to make a play.
It was an electric drive. People probably forget this, but Dwayne Bowe made his first career LSU catch on that game-winning drive. He was number 81 at the time, and he ran a crossing route, and he got hit pretty hard hanging onto the ball, and I believe it was a play later that Malk found you down the sideline. I mean, if you go back and watch that game, it has some LSU just greats that make. Travis Daniels was huge that day. Corey Webster, obviously, with the Tyrone Carey had the first touchdown that day. Yes. I mean, it was Marcus Spears with the strip. I mean, I still remember Chad Lavallee hunting DJ Shockley in that north end zone, south end zone, where it was just, man, Skyler Green, it is good to talk to you. How do you watch football now? What is your relationship with football now? I know you're a parent. What is it like when you watch football now?
I enjoy it. When I'm watching the game, it's like I'm still yelling at the TV. When I'm talking to my son who's playing football right now at Rummel, I kind of reference my games a lot to him because he's just learning, and it's only his second year playing. And I try to go to my film because he reminded me of me, and it's just a lot of things that he needs to work on. And I think he's going to be a great athlete, and I see it in him. So when I watch football now, I just kind of think of my son, and I try to instill in him the things that I've learned in my time playing football coming up.
Yeah, I hear he's a standout baseball player as well. Is that right?
Yeah, I have another son that plays baseball at St. Aug.
Okay. Yes, and I mean I heard he is.
Yeah. So two high school kids. One of my sons go to St. Aug, and my other son, he's at Rummel playing football.
Both coming to LSU, I assume. Standing offers.
I'm trying to get them there right now.
Hey, Coach, we need somebody to come back there and return punts. That has to drive you crazy watching LSU struggle at the punt return position, huh?
Oh, man. When those guys muff punts, I cringe when I see those guys muffing punts, man. Because I know how serious that is, and all those yards and everything makes a big difference in a football game.
What is it that makes a punt returner? I mean, that's a fearless position. You're rarely isolated on a football field ever. that is the most. I mean, you're by yourself. What is that like?
It's just like you said, it's having that blind faith, man. You trust in your guys that they're gonna, while you're looking up for that football, that they're gonna hold those guys up long enough for you to make a decision if you're gonna run it or if you're just gonna make that fair catch. But that's really the big deal. It's still in that trust in those guys, and you having the confidence that you know when you catch this football, you still have room to get your eyes down and have a good look in what you can do with the football once you catch it.
What's the relationship like with that 03 team? You guys were so special, and it'll mean so much to the history of LSU football forever. You guys will obviously be back for the Florida game, but what's the relationships like now?
Awesome. I just texted Terrell McGill not too long ago. I still talk to Dwayne Bowe and those guys every now and again. You know, the relationship is always going to be there. A lot of guys are on Instagram right now saying how they can't wait until that Florida game to get down there. So, and I'm right there with them. I can't wait to see you guys. You know, that's my teammates. I'm going to love them forever, man. And we had good times together, and we won a national championship. So that's something we'll never, ever, you know, have a chance to let go. And there'll always be something that we could cherish and remember.
We are doing something what we call Football Fridays, Legends Football Fridays. Eddie Kennison and I are hosting it with the LSU Alumni Association. Skyler, we're going to be in touch to make sure we get you there for the Friday before the Florida game, man. So be looking out for that. Yep.
Most definitely.
Bro, it's great to see you. It's great to hear from you. I know that you're a very proud dad, and can't wait to see you when you get down here from Florida. Tell everybody hello. See you soon.
Will do. Thank you for having me, Cutler.
All right, man. See you. There he is, Skyler Green, checking in this morning on this Wednesday, as it is great to catch up and see the legend there.
That would be an elite jersey to get.
Yes.
The mesh.
The 5.
The 5 and the mesh.
Remember, daily, we're brought to you by Go Roof, online at GEAUXroof.com. GEAUXroof.com is where you can find Go Roof. You get a 2-year free workmanship guarantee when you work with our friends over at Go Roof, and that is a beautiful roof every single time. You can call them at 225-927-8300, 225-927-8300, and that is residential, commercial, or if you need a roofing repair, you can get in touch with Go Roof. Online at GEAUXroof.com, GEAUXroof.com. Jacques Doucet when we come back here on the Jordy Culotta Show. As always, built by Go Roof, GEAUXroof.com. If you're in the market for a mortgage lender, you need to start with Doug Bickley and his team. Bickley has built a crew with over 50 years of combined lending experience. They've been in business for over 20 years, and they love helping their clients achieve the American dream of home ownership. They're also key with working in real estate agents and helping their clients getting same-day pre-approval. They average about one buyer a day getting them in a home. If you want to get in touch with Doug and his crew, it's easy. Call them 225-214-5154. 225-214-5154. Go see the Bickley team today. They're located on the corner of Coursey Boulevard and Sherwood Forest right here in Baton Rouge.
What's up?
What's happening?
Chilling with a couple of cool guys. You?
Chilling and watching some tube. Hold on.
Did you do it?
Hold on. Did you do it?
Roof's up.
Hold on.
Roof's up?
Roof's up!
Roof's up!
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
Beautiful roof every single time.
True.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones.
You can't put the cart before the horse. That'd be like, will you marry me?
Do I know you?
Never sign a contract with a roofer before he gets on your roof. Call Go Roof instead. We offer a free, no-obligation inspection. A beautiful roof every single time. Bobby, goes in the front.
Go Roof.
Belmont Stakes Race Training. I'm sticking to roofing.
Go Roof.
Kentucky Derby Training. I'm sticking to roofing.
Go Roof.
Offensive player of the game from LSU, Joe Burrow.
Football is life. Football is Joe Burrow.
Click Here Digital, the home of the Jordy Culotta Show. Online at clickheredigital.com. If you're looking to set Google ads, set social media campaigns, learn about SEO, display video, or even creative, Click Here Digital has the answer for you. Online at clickheredigital.com or email me directly, Jordy at clickheredigital.com.
Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show. As always, we are built by our friends over at RMB Builders. Check them out online at rmb-builders.com. And Stewie, scan over to our friends over at Signa Frames and their giveaway. Drew Brees jersey they have given away here. We're going to shut down the chance to give that away a week from Thursday, so you still have an opportunity to jump in and be a part of our giveaway over at Signa Frames. All you have to do is find Signa Frames on Instagram. Once you get over there, give them a like, a follow, and jump inside and comment with 3 tags in the comment section. So tag 3 people in the comment section, and you'll be eligible to win this Drew Brees giveaway and 2 Saints tickets to the Carolina Panther game versus, Jacksonville Jaguar game versus the New Orleans Saints on October 19th. That is compliments of our friend Tom Granning over at GoMart, who came through with a couple of tickets in Section 119 of the Dome that will be a part of the giveaway for the Drew Brees jersey. So get over and follow Signa Frames on Instagram. Tag 3 people after the follow, and you'll be entered to win, in which we will announce Friday, October 13th, who the winner is of the Drew Brees jersey along with the 2 Saints tickets. Compliments of our friend Tom Granning and our people over at Signa Frames. So make sure you find them on Instagram for your opportunity to jump inside and win.
Football
probably
game.
Katie's.
Yeah,
for sure.
Show a poster.
Good to hear from Skyler Green. Man, it was awesome to hear from him. Such a big name in LSU football as far as the history is concerned, but a South Louisiana native that's still around and still wants to be a part of the program. He's got a couple of kids coming up that is going to be a really good that are going to be really good athletes. So it'll be fun to watch those guys grow up and kind of keep up to date with what's happening with Skyler Green. We're going to link up with Jacques here as we have JD here on this Wednesday morning. And Jacques, you're such a great historian around LSU football and were a part of that 2003 team. Of course, that was the first to win the national championship since '58. You were covering that on the front line. Skyler Green, when I say the name, what's the emotion? What's the memories that get kicked up?
JD? No sound, JD.
No sound, JD. My bad. We will get that audio right for Jacques, and as soon as we do. But Jacques is a great one to go back and forth with as far as the history of LSU sports and the history of LSU athletics, particularly football, because of just his passion for it. And Jacques is still that guy that the part I love about Jacques, I was talking to him earlier this week. Jacques is still in a position where, he is experiencing great growth as in his career, in his profession, but he's still the guy that goes to the sound bites on Wednesday night and gets that B-roll, gets that audio, gets that video. I mean, that is what makes him who he is, and it also gives him a great reference point for stories like this. Jacques will he will write a great book one day because he's been in the LSU football facility 6 times a week during football season for the last 25 years.
And I think what you heard him say last week when he came on, which was an awesome interview, by the way, like him going down memory lane. He doesn't do it because it's his job. He does it because he loves it.
Yeah.
Which is the difference between him
and a lot of people.
Exactly. He still doesn't have to go do that anymore. He could find somebody to go cut up B-roll, go to the press conferences, but he lives it. He wants to be in there because he's becoming he's like a living, walking historian of LSU football that he remembers all the same things that we kind of remember. Like y'all teach me things that I barely remember, but y'all are such a good reference point to that, the comeuppance of LSU football. So that's why I love every time y'all get together.
He reconnected. I think he's gonna try to reconnect.
Okay. Just let him know when we let us know when we have JD. But it's great to always kind of hop inside of the memory tank with him to go back and specifically that 03 team that's going to be celebrated throughout this season and going to be brought back. Speaking of our Football Fridays, I was just texting with the director of that, Lauren Kiffin, that Skyler Green is somebody that wants to be a part of it. It's a really cool deal over at Lod Cook every home game Friday. So we'll reconvene next week for the Auburn game. Still opportunities to get in over there. All you have to do is email our friend Lauren Kiffin over at the LSU Alumni Association,
and that is
Lauren at LSUalumni.org.
Just turn your phone to the side.
Lauren at LSUalumni.org.
Trying to teach my dad how to face.
Yeah, this is tough. JD, this is why you come in studio.
But we'll let's see if we can get linked up back with from WAFB, our friend Jacques Doucette. How are we looking over there, Stewie? Yeah. We got some volume?
Let's see.
We got volume.
We got audio? That's okay. All right, good.
Let's kick him on. Let's see.
Let me just see what we're
working with.
Let me just see what we're dealing with here.
There he is.
Look at him.
There you go.
About to throw a softball at him.
Yeah, was that the first question Monday?
Real quick, before we get into that, take me back to 03. We just had Skyler Green on. You hear Skyler Green's name, what do you think of?
I apologize. I haven't changed the setting on my computer since last week. I don't know what's going on. But obviously 2003, the Georgia game in Tiger Stadium, which was, built up kind of as the game that LSU could not win in the past. They were not good in the quote-unquote big game. It was a day game, and Nick Saban kind of said all this stuff is silly about how we can't win a 2:30 CBS game. I believe Skyler would tell you he ran the wrong route on the play.
Yeah.
Matt Malk saw him open, chunked it to the end zone just before he got drilled, and the rest is history. Skyler was always a great personality, bright smile, highly intelligent, well-spoken guy who was always great in interviews. And I believe in 2004, it was unfortunate. I think that was the year he had the high ankle sprain, and that kind of hurt him all during the year in terms of being the true Skyler Green. But certainly it does hit you that, oh my God, it's been 20 years since LSU's 2003 national championship team, which I believe they're going to honor the week after the Alabama game against Florida in Tiger Stadium. So chatted with Matt Mauck last week, and stay in touch with guys like Michael Clayton and some others that were a huge part of that team in 2003. Which I don't want to sound like the LSU homer, but if Ole Miss, if you're going to honor a 2003 SEC Western team, maybe you should do it against an opponent who doesn't know the history of what actually happened. That's going to go over their head. When you're honoring the team in front of the fan base and the program that beat you head to head and represented the SEC West in Atlanta, that's kind of a hard thing to kick by the goalie, but so be it.
Ben Mintz called it his favorite LSU Ole Miss game ever that he was at in Oxford on Saturday. He's been to a lot of them. Jacques, you were there. What was that scene like? What was that moment like for you watching an LSU team that just couldn't stop anybody but was out trying to outscore another great offense?
Well, it was a huge crowd. It was announced as the largest crowd in Vaught-Hemingway Stadium history. I think that for the people who were 55 and up, LSU and Ole Miss is something very special. I think for a lot of Ole Miss fans, LSU is the team they hate the most or want to beat the most. It was a case of an LSU defense with a historically bad performance. It was hard to kind of put into words how it seemed like Ole Miss, at least on a couple of their touchdowns, were playing against air. A guy gets a handoff in the hole, he makes one move, and he's, 50-yard dash to the end zone. One of those quick slants across the middle that went for a touchdown. It's like, where's the defense? No one's touching the quarterback. No one's touching the wide receiver. LSU did an amazing job keeping up. It's not a good recipe to try to win a game when you are asking your offense to score in every possession, and then you're hoping defensively that the other guys might get hit with a holding call or something like that, and we make a couple tackles and force them to punt on 4th and 5 or something. So I know there's a lot of talk about LSU's defense, who's playing, who's not, what's going on with the coordinator and everything. But, Jordy, I jotted a few things down for you because I was real nervous about my performance on the show today. But real quick, if you look at it, so your two top tacklers this year for LSU are Major Burns and Andre Sam with 38 and 35 tackles. I'm not a genius, but I know both of those guys are safeties. And when your safeties are leading the team in tackles, that's bad news. Harold Perkins has 25 tackles overall. He has 4.5 tackles for loss and 2 sacks. Last year, 13 tackles for loss, 7.5 sacks. So it's not totally brutal, but it's not on line with what we expected. Omar Speights, you would argue, was probably the biggest pickup in the offseason for LSU in terms of he was supposed to make a big difference. He was supposed to be like the man in the middle and an all-conference linebacker. He's played in 3 games. He has 13 tackles, no tackles for loss, no sacks. What's going on there? And obviously, everyone loves Mason Smith, and we think he's going to make a comeback. But it's shocking. 4 games, 7 tackles, half a tackle for loss. So, those are some things defensively for LSU that just are sticking out like a sore thumb. And as LSU goes to Missouri, what is old is new again. Because I went up there in 2020 when Hurricane Delta came down, and it was supposed to be in LSU. It was supposed to be in Tiger Stadium. That was the COVID season, and I just remember very well shots of Bo Pelini and Ed Ogeron on the sideline wearing masks, and Missouri getting 586 yards of total offense and beating LSU 45-41. So, are we heading towards something like that again this weekend, or can LSU, fix some things and correct some things and get back in the hunt to win the West?
It is, when you look at this matchup versus Missouri, on paper, it looks a lot like the one you just left in Oxford, right? A poor passing defense, an advanced passing offense going up against LSU's putrid defense and, superstar offense.
Yeah, I agree. Brady Cook, their quarterback. Now, look, they haven't played the meat of their schedule. They've played. They've won the games they've played. They beat a team in Kansas State that was ranked in the top 15 at the time on a 61-yard field goal. at the end. But Brady Cook, their quarterback, he's averaging almost 300 yards per game. He's thrown 11 touchdowns. He hasn't thrown a pick. You know, if you're LSU's defense, that's maybe one way to motivate yourself. Hey, this guy hasn't thrown an interception all year. Let's try to be the first ones to get one. Luther Burden, their wide receiver, he's tearing things up. And another interesting note, Jordy, do you know who's their defensive coordinator?
Yes, I do. It is Blake.
Blake Baker.
Blake Baker. Yes. Big loss for LSU.
I mean, I really like Blake. Yep. Blake was part of the collateral damage of 2021, in which Coach Orgeron brought in, I think, 7 new assistants in that offseason trying to save things. And he was coaching linebackers and had a great relationship with Damone Clark. And, things go off the rails. Coach Orgeron gets fired 7 games in, and all these guys have to find a new home. But, he's married to an LSU soccer player. They were all happy about coming back home to Baton Rouge, and they only get to stay 1 season. So, that kind of sucked. But, he's going to be motivated in this game going head-to-head with LSU to prove that, he's a good defensive coordinator and his guys can beat the Tigers. But, real interesting to think back on that 2020 game, not to get too historic, but, we all remember the big name, Jordy, Connor Bazelak.
That's right.
Did you remember Connor Bazelak?
I did not until you just mentioned it, but when you said it, I do remember it.
The Missouri quarterback who threw for 406 yards and 4 touchdowns against LSU that day. I remember Derek Stingley jumping up and down like, what the heck's going on back here? Miles Brennan threw for 430 yards that day, 4 touchdowns.
That's right.
A young man by the name of Arik Gilbert, 6 catches, 97 yards, and Terrace Marshall Jr., 11 catches, 235 yards, 3 touchdowns. LSU gets to the 1-yard line, first and goal at the 1, and can't score, and loses 45-41.
That is right. That's the day Miles Brennan suffered the injury.
Yeah, never played another down, right? That was the last. I mean, he played in spring games and stuff, but he never played in another college game after that.
Because he tried to stay in bounds.
Arik Gilbert,
somebody.
I believe,
yes,
was one of the leading receivers for LSU that day. I mean, it was
what a time.
A trivial. I mean, that is a day that will be a trivia dream of people and numbers in the game for LSU. Jacques, what did you make of Monday's press conference?
Well, speaking, I know a lot of people are talking about the coordinator, and so the point of the first thing is when I asked him about about the job House did last year and win 10 games, I expected a quick yes or no answer. I didn't want the not that I mind, but the elaborate answer that he gave, and it's just that this guy hasn't forgot how to coach football, right? I mean, last year, the Alabama game is 7-6 at halftime. The Ole Miss game, you fall behind big early, but you make adjustments. And I think Coach House was really complimented last year a lot as a guy who, like Dave Aranda before him, was good at making adjustments and rallying the troops, so to speak. And so what's kind of going wrong this year, and how do you guys fix this? I mean, Coach Kelly, after the Brian Poldian special teams problems last year, doesn't strike me as a guy who would make a move in the middle of the season and fire a defensive coordinator who, by the way, if you fire him, I think you owe him $6 million or something like that. And if you make a move, what good does that do? Who becomes a new defensive coordinator? You can't implement a new defense. You need all spring to do that. I mean, and then the guys that are playing, right? I mean, and I'm just saying this out loud because I've heard this about other schools. Is NIL dictating playing time, Jordy? Do we have to play a guy because of what we invested in NIL more than perhaps another guy who might be more productive? Is this back to watching the Saints in 2007 and saying, Pierre Thomas has 1 carry for 23 yards and a touchdown. Why doesn't he have more carries? Well, we got Reggie Bush, who's the number 2 pick in the NFL draft, so, we got to feed him because that's where the money's going. So, those are the kind of questions, that I think some fans have and have asked me about. And so, why does Whit Weeks not get into the game until later? Deshaun Womack is a young and immature. What's the deal there? Why can't he get a few more snaps? I think that Coach Kelly, good leaders are not emotional. They don't, they have to stay on an even keel to emote confidence. He was not emotional. I mean, I think he got maybe a little, fired up a couple of times and talked about the Tennessee game last year and how people wanted to burn down the city and whatnot. But, hey, look, I mean, I don't want to build up and make a game more dramatic than it needs to be and this and that. But this is a very interesting crossroads. If you lose this game and you have 3 losses, last year LSU didn't have their 3rd loss to the regular season finale against Texas A&M. And I guess you're not technically eliminated from the SEC West, but when you lose 2 games this quick, you kind of feel like you are. How do you? How much do the players stay engaged? What's the overall feel of the team after your preseason top 5, and you're talking about making the playoffs and winning the SEC? But if they win it and can beat Auburn at home and get this thing back on track, yeah, they can kind of control their own destiny. Although Ole Miss is going to have to lose, and Ole Miss plays Georgia later in the season.
Yeah.
So I think that it's interesting. He doesn't take phone calls at that radio show, Jordy, on Thursday night. So. I know fans are frustrated. I know they want their pound of flesh, a lot of them right now. I know they want some of us to show up at these press conferences and throw bricks and stuff like that. All we can do is, ask questions and ask them as professionally as we can. It feels a lot like when Paul Maneri's last year when things were not going well and everyone was really angry. Let me ask you this, Jordy. Do you think there's anything that Brian Kelly can say at a press conference before a game, after a game, on a teleconference that will make people feel any better? Or is it strictly the performance on the field is the only thing that can dictate fans' emotions?
I believe that college sports, especially football, it's a week-to-week journey. Like 1 week you're up, 1 week you're down, and it doesn't matter what's said in front of the microphone other than what's happening on the field, in comparison's sake, right? I mean, because we've done it both ways. Well, he says on the microphone they're going to do it this way, then they get out on the field and they do it that way. But then, he says one thing on the microphone and they just go out and dominate. Nobody really cares. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I mean, it just comes down to execution and winning. And the one piece of coach speak that I've heard in my life that rings true more than anything is that winning cures all. Like, winning cures everything. I mean, there was a lot of stuff happening in the LSU football program when Joe Burrow showed up. There was a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes when Burrow was there. There was a lot more stuff that was happening when he left. The things that covered it up was that they were winning. I mean, that was what covered it up. I mean, that was the deal.
And real quick, fans have every right to be frustrated. They are paying more money than ever before for tickets, for TAF fees, to park, for this and that. Now they're being asked to give, NIL money to fund the roster and this and that. But it is funny sometimes when when somebody says, you ask this question, then you ask the question, and then Brian Kelly says, we have the utmost confidence in Matt House and what he's doing. And then somebody goes, what do you expect him to say at a press conference? So you can't win, sometimes on what you ask and everything. But you're exactly right. I mean, the thing that I remember the most about 2019 was before the SEC championship game, Ed Ogeron was asked what was in the famous binder that helped him get the job. Joe Oliva had said that Ed Ogeron had put together this binder, and it had illustrated how to build a championship program. And it was a big selling point, a big reason he got the job. And Coach Ogeron said, well, I don't know what was in that. And everyone laughed, right? Everyone laughed. Oh, that Coach O, he's so great, As opposed to if it was 2020 and they're 3-5 and things are falling off the rails, then people, get angry. So, if they start winning again, things change.
Last one, I'll get you out of here. What do you expect and what do you make of the Pete Jenkins hire?
Well, I saw Pete yesterday after we did our player interviews, told him hello, and small chatted with him for a little bit. I don't know how much that can help. I mean, he's obviously a guru. He is somebody who has been called upon for years and years by Nick Saban, by all sorts of different coaches throughout the country. He still does that, part of that. Kevin Mawai and others put on that lineman camp every year in Thibodeau at Nichols that draws all these kids from across the country. So he's not allowed to be on the field, right? And he can't be coaching at practice, but I guess he can point out some things off the field, watching video and whatnot, technically to to clean things up. But, I kind of heard you talk the other day. How many big changes can you make in the middle of the season, and how impactful can those things be? Hopefully they can be, because, defensive line is not getting the kind of push they need. And I hear people that know football, and I don't, talk about what they're doing. Are they playing a yard and a half off the ball? They're doing some funny twists and stunts that aren't working. So I guess it can't hurt, but I don't want to say it rings of desperation a bit, but you hope that Pete can help him out a little bit, because Pete certainly is a legend, and coached at LSU for the first time in 1980.
Yeah,
I think.
I believe this is his. I believe this is his 6th stint at LSU. This is the 6th time he's been on the staff at LSU in his career. I mean, if anybody knows the place, it's Pete Jenkins.
Yeah. Yeah, certainly. The first LSU games I ever went to in 1987, he's on the staff at that time, and so is Jerry Sullivan.
That's right.
Jerry Sullivan, who coached Wendell Davis and all these different wide receivers, who was last on Ed Ogeron's staff in 2018. I don't think the wide receivers need much work right now. So, and that's another thing too, Jordy, is that, Jaden Daniels and the offense, I'm not breaking any news here, but they're just on fire, right? Yeah. And just having an amazing season, and all the questions we had about, can Jaden Daniels actually throw the ball down the field? And, he went from averaging 208 yards passing last year to 342 this year. He's got 16 touchdown passes already when he had 17 all of last year. So, he's answering the bell, and he is taking things to the next level. And that was one of the huge preseason questions, and it's being answered the way LSU fans wanted it to be answered. The problem is that the other side of the ball is like, a 50-pound block being tied to your ankle and pulling you underwater, So LSU just needs some semblance of complimentary football to get back on track and to start winning games, and they can, because the West, Alabama, is vulnerable, and Ole Miss, I don't trust them to go through the entire slate undefeated. So they can get back in this, but it's got to start this weekend.
WAFB 9 Sports at Jacques Doucet is where you follow him on Twitter. Every Wednesday you see him right here on the Culotta Show. Have a great week. Safe travels to Missouri. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Thank you very much. My sincere apologies for the early technical issues, Mr. Culotta.
No problem, JD. We'll see you in studio next week. Later, man.
Exactly.
There he is. Jacques from WAFB, our favorite, our friend. He's good. On the desk, you can find him there tonight. I believe at 10 o'clock he's there. On Twitter at Jacques Doucet, and every Wednesday here on the Culotta Show.
Press conference superstar.
Remember our friends over at Click Here Digital. We're part of the team at Click Here Digital. Love being a part of the team at Click Here Digital. We're here based in Baton Rouge, but we service the country. We can help you out with your digital marketing ads. We specialize in automotive, legal, dentist, medical, but help all the fields, all the sectors. If you're interested on how your phone can start ringing, if you need the phone to ring more, if you need more people to walk through the store doors, you need more foot traffic, or you need more clicks on the website, Click Here Digital can help you out with a full-service digital marketing plan. Online at clickheredigital.com, or I am your direct contact. If you need more information, if you want to learn more about it, meet the team, get some answers, email me, Jordy at clickheredigital.com, Jordy at clickheredigital.com. All right, give us a like before we get out of here. We got about 30 more minutes before we bounce, and we need to get to 200 likes. We got a lot of work to do. If you're watching this and you have not hit that thumbs up yet, go ahead and do that for us if you don't mind. And if you have not subscribed to the show, hit that subscription button, as we'll be back with more of the Jordy Culotta Show live here from Click Here Digital and built by R&B every day.
Malik Neighbors, a wide receiver.
Favorite pregame meal?
Popeyes.
What would winning a national championship mean to you?
It would mean a lot to me because, we've seen a lot of the greats come through here, won their national championship, got, remembered for life.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Probably fly. That or telekinesis.
What's the best piece of advice that you've ever received?
Do it wrong, do it long. Do it right, do it light.
Kyra Lacey, wide receiver, number 2.
Do you have any nicknames?
K2.
What's the best piece of advice that you've ever been given?
Stay humble.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Fly. I be flying in my dreams.
What's been the highlight of your partnership with us?
The bike giveaway was one of the best things. I was pretty excited about that one. Texas A&M, I just got a point to prove because last year I dropped 2 balls I should have caught. I'm coming for them for real.
That's it. Thank you, man.
My name is Harold Perkins, and I play linebacker.
What's your favorite pre-game meal or snack?
Pasta with a little steak, something that's not too heavy.
Any superstitions or pre-game rituals?
I pray a lot. Just be me and God before the game. Perky worky. I like when they call me the percolator. I like that.
If anyone gets in a wreck, who should they call?
Gore.
Thanks. Where were you born at, Greg?
Hattiesburg, Mississippi. But I claim 5 food because I was raised there my whole life. Favorite type of food is spaghetti. But you need to try spaghetti with some corn on the side. Funniest person I'd probably get Kyra Lacey. He be having me joked out every time I talk to him.
Who's the most athletic?
You know, besides myself, Perk or Malik. Future self, just take one day at a time, one step at a time. If you're doing something, just be where your feet are. Make sure you give 100% effort.
What is something on your bucket list?
Win a Super Bowl. That's definitely on my bucket list.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Time traveling.
Who's the fastest on the team?
Like in a short span, I would say quick trigger, I'm taking Perk. One thing most people don't know about me, probably that I moved 12 times growing up, 12 different states.
Who's the most savage on the team?
Mason Smith. Mason Smith, definitely.
And who gets it done?
Gordon.
Thank you, man. That's great.
Emory Jones, right tackle.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Got it from my mom, and she just told me, always keep your head on the swivel.
Favorite subject?
Math, easy. I kind of keep it light. Give me some type of red beans or something like that. Throw a little cornbread on the side.
Light with red beans.
Yeah, just a little bit. I am superstitious. I got some PSDs that's purple and yellow and white. I wear them every game. I feel like they my lucky draws, and you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep doing it.
Let's be special. Let's be strong. Let's smell greatness from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Thanks.
And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Hey Tiger fans, when you're traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, make sure to visit Tom and Wright Granning at Go-Mart and On The Go Deli, where you can fill up your tank and your belly. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need on your trip. Located at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left. Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff, where the Po' Boys are so good you'll swear you're in Cajun country.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
All right, buddy. Make it a good shot.
Oh, yeah.
Sticking the roof in.
For a hole in your roof, or a whole new roof, go roof. Roof, roof, go roof.
Hey, Greg, roof up?
Roofs up. Roofs up. Roofs up.
Roofs up?
Roofs up.
Roofs up! Beautiful roof every single time.
True. True.
Phil's Oyster Bar, a staple of South Louisiana since 1945, located in Southdown Shopping Center and online at philsoysterbar.com. If you log online, you can learn about the private party schedule, the catering menu, and even order online. Daily lunch specials Monday through Friday. Learn about the history when Gus Piazza took it over in the early 70s, made it an absolute stop-in for everyone who came through Baton Rouge, and now Anthony, his son, carrying on the tradition. Phil's Oyster Bar, Southdown Shopping Center, and online, philsoysterbar.com.
Let's be special. Let's be strong. Let's smell great. From the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
When law enforcement needed John Stefanski's help,
He stepped up and passed the toughest fentanyl trafficking law in America.
he's always had our back.
As Attorney General, I trust him
I trust him. I trust John Stefanski to stand with law enforcement.
and Louisiana families.
To fight back against violent crime.
I'm with John Stefanski. I'm with John Stefanski.
I'm with John.
I'm with John Stefanski.
I'm with John Stefanski for Attorney General.
I'm with John Stefanski for Attorney General.
All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, as always, live here on this Friday. I appreciate you being a part. Big announcement for the show. Really honored to be a part of this year's Flower Fest of Baton Rouge. Flower Fest in Baton Rouge is a great event put on by a friend of mine, Amy Vanderveer, who I've worked with. Amy has done great work in our community and in our town for fundraising, for charity events. She's incredible as far as a content creator goes. She now works with Julio Malera and the crew over at 225 In Register and Business Report, and she's a rock star, man. You can learn more about Flower Fest online at theflowerfest.com. But I am a part of the 2024 honorees, man, and it is excited to be a part of a really cool group who we are tasked with raising money for St. Jude Children's Hospital, which we're looking forward to. We'll have a couple of events. I'm talking to Amy about possibly doing a tailgate to raise some money. We're partnered with people like Phil's Oyster Bar on some things, but you can help out. We have the link to donate to the calls if you'd like on our social media. If you're looking for it, at Culotta Show is where you can find it on social media platforms. So wherever you may be looking, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on TikTok or Facebook, you can find it there at Culotta Show when you search it. So shout out to Amy and the crew over at Flower Fest. It's awesome to be a part of it, like I said, and really looking forward to this year, as it's a cool crew and it's a hell of a responsibility and good to be a part of it. So, man, this college football weekend is another one that is going to really be tough to break away from the television. I kind of like that LSU is away, even though I'll be down at our fishing rodeo that we're partnering up with Boot Crew Media. I'll be down there at the marina. We've already got it lined up. We'll have football on all day, and how can't you, right? This is another weekend slate of football that is absolutely pulling you towards the television. Every single time slot has one of these matchups. What was it, 2 weeks ago? Where we had every matchup, every time slot, whether it was 11, 2:30, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7:30, even 9:30
rock.
with your Pac-12 after dark. I mean, it is a football weekend that you can settle in and get comfortable. It gets going with the Red River Shootout on Saturday morning, 11 a.m. on ABC. The last time this will be a Big 12 matchup. Next time these two teams meet, they will be a part of the Southeastern Conference. But as far as game and matchup tradition, rivalry in college football, pageantry, all the stuff that college football looks to hang on to and wants to sell, this game has. They do it. It's the backdrop of the Texas State Fair. They play the game at Dallas in the Cotton Bowl. They split the field up 50-50 as far as the fans go. One side's burnt orange. One side is maroon with the Oklahoma faithful. It's always usually a shootout, a good game. It's on, as far as aesthetically on television, it's beautiful. It's usually just sun gleaming, sun shining, Dallas,
Gus
Texas.
Johnson on the call.
Gus Johnson, Texas's unis versus Oklahoma's unis. I mean, it's an aesthetically pleasing, big-time rivalry matchup, even though this one's on ABC, so no Gus J.
No Gus?
No Gus.
Who's this Kirby and the Herbie and
Is this Herbie and Fowler? Did they get this one?
It might be.
I mean, this is a huge game. In that same time slot, 11 a.m., you've got LSU at Missouri. Obviously, the local appeal with the Tigers kicking off at 11 a.m. That'll be a big game coming to you from Columbia, Missouri, over at Memorial Stadium in the 11 a.m. slot. Another huge one at 2:30. Alabama is going to Kyle Field, and they will be taking on Texas A&M and the Aggies in a huge spot for both schools. When you talk about Alabama and A&M, A&M has been coming on strong the last 2 weeks. I believe we've given you the numbers. The last two games for A&M, Auburn and Arkansas, they've got over 30 tackles for loss and 14 sacks from a defensive standpoint. Their defensive line is NFL good.
LSU got Robert Griffin III again.
No.
Yep, it's Herbie and Fowler on the OU Texas game.
Just RG3 just tries too hard.
He does.
And he was a plant for Ole Miss.
I don't think he's not going to get it, though. For as much as he's getting crushed, and deserves. I mean, he said some things on Saturday. You're like, come on, bro.
All right, bro.
I mean, come on. I mean, the
stand-up comedian.
That's a catch on Sundays, and I'm not talking about ice cream. Like, all right, bro.
I mean, like the religious stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
they're picking him up off the ground. Like
I mean, some of the stuff is. But I thought
he calls the game well.
I thought the last drive, I thought he was phenomenal. I thought the way that he called the game. I mean, look, I'm not here to get into anything, but I mean, as far when he was just on football, he was great.
Right. He tries these little puns.
Yeah. He tries hard. And
right.
I get it. It's early.
Well, and I think they wanted it to be like a looser broadcaster, going for like that Manning cast feel, to where it's like, okay, it's like you're in the living room with the boys.
Yeah, and I think he'll catch his stride.
I do too. He knows the game, obviously.
Right. And he's very comfortable talking about it.
Yes.
Right. And it's
very comfortable.
Yes, exactly. You almost got to pull it back a little bit. But the Alabama A&M game is a huge spot for both teams here, right? I mean, like, this is. I think this is going to be a great game. I think A&M has been trending. Alabama is coming off of they beat the hell out of Mississippi State. They're trying to get their confidence right. This is a big, big spot and a big game that I'm looking forward to watching in the 2:30 slot on Saturday. That's just that's probably from the 2:30 standpoint the one that'll grab you and keep you paying attention the longest. Virginia Tech is going to Florida State. I don't know how long that one's going to stay competitive. Colorado is going to Arizona State. That one's going to be at 5:30. The Colorado at Arizona State game.
Over.
But then coming up at 6 o'clock, an SEC game that may not be talked about a ton in the lead up, but I think is going to be a slugfest, is going to be Kentucky at Georgia. This Kentucky team is built different than a lot of college football teams are right now. I mean, they are a true run first, run right at you type offense. And Ray Davis is a dude that is I mean, he's trending towards the Conference Player of the Year right now.
He's got Heisman talk after last week, what he did against Florida. Good Lord, he's still running.
I mean, he's running all over the place.
He was going for Ty Davis Price's record. It was close, which is, if you're Florida, that would have been 2 guys that have broken the SEC single-game rushing record against you. It would have been Ty Davis Price, and then Ray Davis almost did it.
Kentucky's 2-0 in conference, baby.
This is a spot for Kentucky. They're undefeated on the season. 5-0, 2-0 in conference. Ray Davis goes for 280 last week in the win versus Florida. 4 scores. I mean, this is a game that has been built up before, and I don't want to fall victim here, but this is a different Kentucky team that they are taking over into Athens to square up against the national champs. I mean, this is a team that is ready to play physical. They want to fight. They want to keep it in the trenches. They want to keep it in between the hashes. They want to square up and brawl in this game. And, that has been really kind of what Georgia's ace card has always been was, they might try some things. They might try to go and do some things on offense that may be a little bit revolutionary to what they're trying to do, but they're always going to be physical and they're always going to be tough and they're always going to be just mean, right? And Kentucky's taking a team over there that believes. They believe they can win. They got a squad that's playing really aggressive and intense on the physical part of the game, that from a matchup standpoint to Georgia, this will be, in my opinion, Georgia, who's got a just awful schedule, may not get tested really until the college football playoff. But this is a test for them on Saturday.
They just don't have a quarterback.
This is a spot, I don't know if they need one.
Kentucky?
Yes.
I do, but just whenever you go up against the Georgia team that knows you're one-dimensional, you're trying to play their style of football.
Agreed.
He's going to have to push the ball.
Yeah, he's going to have to take some shots, because if you let you let Kirby Smart get that defense to where he kind of knows what you're doing, lets those boys hunt, it turns into it gets ugly pretty quickly, because Georgia's got the dogs.
Devin Leary is the quarterback for Kentucky.
Lefty, right?
He's the guy from NC State.
He did transfer over from NC State.
But, you can't really look at the Florida game because, like you said, they didn't need him.
No, he
was 9 of 20 for 69 yards.
All 3 of us could have played quarterback for Kentucky last Saturday.
Yeah, all we had to do was hand it off.
Turn around.
It just, didn't get hit, and it was the Ray Davis show. I am intrigued to see what happens in this game on Saturday. It won't surprise me if Georgia runs away with it, but it will not surprise me as well as if this thing is a one-possession game in the fourth quarter.
Yep, it wouldn't surprise me either.
And I think that
Georgia was in a dogfight with Auburn last week.
They were.
Yeah.
That's what would make you think, and especially if I think the trick of playing Georgia is if you could stick around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you can hang around. Well,
if
that's
you
the
just
key
hang
to
around,
anything,
yeah.
right? In sports, you hang around, give yourself a chance at the end. That's when the pressure happens. That's when it gets tight, right? That's when players like Brock Bowers step up and make plays.
Oh, Jesus.
when the game gets tight, usually the best players out there are starting to make plays. Baby. I saw him on McConkey's back, isn't he?
Hey.
McConk the
Don't
dog.
sleep on Ladd, man.
He just had to
unreal.
Had to get that knee right, coach.
Yeah, he had to probably went through with who's our guy, Stetson Bennett.
Steady.
Meeting of the minds.
Steady must be in trouble in
he is in trouble.
No.
Kentucky at Georgia is going to be a good one at the 6 o'clock slate. Look out for Notre Dame at Louisville. Brian Brom is a guy that we're not talking about at Louisville. He's got the Cardinals 5-0 right now.
Notre Dame.
Old Notre Dame might be walking into a little bit of a
buzzsaw.
They could.
Brian Brom of XFL fame. He's a Louisville guy, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. And then you're pouring after dark. Excuse me. Pac-12 after dark.
Pac-2.
Pac-2.
Arizona at USC. Take the over.
Fireworks.
This is going to be electric.
I'm just back here closing my eyes, throwing that thing.
I love that quarterback. Where's my guy's name?
It's so fun to watch.
Arizona, my guy.
Yes. Jaden DeLora. If you want to be entertained, don't root for Arizona because he will make you pull your hair out. But if you just want to see somebody that takes every shot in the world, it is Jaden DeLora. He plays just an unbelievable brand of football.
Plays like a high school quarterback.
Every play is 4 verticals.
I'm about to run around.
It looks like they're running out of time every time he takes a snap. It looks like you have to score. It's so much fun to watch. And if you're going against USC, you kind of have to play that way anyway. So he'll be forced into playing his brand of football, which is try to keep up with Caleb Williams. Did you see what he said? Was that report real about Caleb Williams that came out yesterday? I saw it on Instagram, so I can't really put too much credence in it.
Watch yourself.
But it said he was like trying to name the teams that he wants to go to in the NFL, and if it's not one of those 5 teams, he says he makes more money in coming back to college than he would in the NFL next year. It was like the Jets, Cowboys, somebody else. It was a list of teams that already have quarterbacks, but that's where he wanted to go.
Teams that he isn't going to go to.
Right.
This is not going to work out for him.
I don't know why he's trying to do
I don't know
this.
why nobody is going to learn. Like, you don't want to take the NFL on this
Big
stuff.
NFL.
I mean, and you're just, all you're doing is just putting this X on your back, man.
And I mean, like
why?
And realistically, like,
You're making everybody hate you already.
The first pick right now is projected to be the Bears.
The
But the
Bears.
Bears are going to have the first and the second pick.
I mean, are you going to turn down going to live in Chicago? I mean, I know, but
I don't think he wants to get his career ruined. I mean, you saw what happened to Justin Fields, who I don't know what they did to. They broke him because they turned him into who was that at Georgia? Mark Richt? Or it was a Kirby's first year.
Yes, Kirby.
When Kirby had Justin Fields and just used him exclusively to run the football, put him in as on punt.
Yeah.
To fake a punt against LSU. And we were just like, wait, everybody knows who that is. He's the number 1 quarterback in the country.
Number 1's on the field.
Yeah, he's not a personal protector. So that didn't work out. But then when he goes to Ohio State, you could see that he's kind of a thrower of the football. And now he goes to the Bears, and they turn him back to the old him where they just run it with him. At least last year, they run it with him 15 times a game. Of course, he's going to get hurt. But I think that's what Caleb Williams is afraid of, is going to a system that you can't win here.
Yeah.
And there's probably 12 to 15 teams in the NFL that don't have a great system for your quarterback. So I get what he's trying to do, but this is not how the system works.
Yeah, and it's not going to work out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to work out. Damn.
Big NFL.
But while he's in college, he is still fun to watch. So take the over, USC, Arizona.
Absolutely. Take the over, LSU, Missouri.
Absolutely. I mean, that's who
What
LSU
is
is
it? I mean,
now.
what's the number on this?
Let's look.
Let me guess.
Actually pulling it up.
I am guessing
65 and a half.
I think that's too low, Stewie.
Oh, damn.
I'm going like 70. I think this is like this.
I gave him 60.
I mean, Vegas has got to learn in watching LSU now. I mean, you can't be getting tricked by the brand anymore.
64 and a half.
64 and a half. Look at Stewie.
I mean, I would take it.
Stewie the Shark.
I'm here.
That's right.
Shit. I could give you some picks.
I would take the over.
Already did.
I never take my own picks.
LSU minus 6.5. Over under for Arizona USC.
That is a road favorite that
At
is
11
coming off
a.m.
of a loss in a team that is. I mean, you talk about like the betting don'ts.
Yes,
that is the anti-gambling game.
That is
right there.
what you call a trap.
I mean, like, kids, sit down, take your pens out.
I got a bridge.
Look at this.
Yeah,
so this is what they call a rat line?
Yeah.
This is what you call a Barker Brothers shitty line of the week.
This is if you're not as close to it as we are. If you're just going through if you're just going down the book, like LSU minus 6.5. Sure,
favored by a touchdown over Missouri.
That's it.
All day.
What do you think about that?
I mean, number 1 offense in the country.
Yeah, the number 130 defense in the country.
Worst
You
defense
stumble
in
in at 7 o'clock at night, flipping through the channels, and find out that LSU and Missouri
worst defense in
is
the country.
in a absolute barn burner at 68-64
This is basketball season
with 3 minutes left in the game.
in the first.
I mean,
What do you
I
think
would
Arizona?
slam the over.
Yeah. What do you think Arizona USC is in the over under?
I would say that's in the 70s.
70 and a half.
72.
Oh,
Wow.
Jeez.
On a Wednesday, Coach, that thing could touch 78 by the time it kicks off.
It's going to hit 75 at least by Thursday, huh?
Give me 81. Yes. Jane DeLora is coming off a little bit of an ankle.
All right.
Just going to make him play harder.
Yeah.
Make him play faster.
Run around a little more.
How much is Texas favored by over Oklahoma?
That's 11 a.m. I'd probably say like 8.5.
I was about to say, it's a small line. It's not that big.
Saturday. 6.5.
See?
Stewie the Shark.
Stewie the Shark. Over under 60.5.
I go under, yeah.
Yeah, I would go under.
Oklahoma doesn't score a lot.
Texas can
They
play
score.
that style, man. I
Yeah.
mean,
That run game is serious.
I'm a little bit of a slut for Texas right now.
It's okay. You were at first though.
Yep, I'm whoring for Texas.
Yeah.
I am.
Gotta respect
I'm
them
showing
right
a
now.
little leg to Sark.
Still
but
down.
you gotta fight them off now. You're not the only one.
That's okay.
Everybody's trying to get on the bandwagon.
That's all right.
Quinn Ewers?
Yes.
You're a Quinn Ewers fan?
Big Q guy.
Yeah. Cut the hair.
He
That's
did.
all right.
The fade will do it to you.
He's got it,
Quintavious.
he does. He got the same haircut. He went Stetson. He got Stetson-fied.
He got steadied.
Oh, but and then you hope that the what was it 2019 when the Boomer Sooner wagon went down?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
was that at this game?
Mm-hmm. Yes. That's
Wait,
the only reason I would have seen it.
No, it was at home.
No, it was at Oklahoma.
No,
game.
it had to
Oh,
be
was it?
Oklahoma. Yeah, no, it was at Oklahoma. It was at Oklahoma.
I
mean, if it would have happened in a Red Revolution, it would have been Texas. Like you would have been like somebody like loosened the wheel, right?
Yeah,
like,
Bevo.
I mean, somebody unscrewed the lug nuts on this thing.
This is nefarious.
Right.
Wait, who were they playing?
I think it was like Iowa State.
But I mean,
it's a hell of a scene.
They hit the corner going
I
far too
mean,
fast.
You can see it coming. Like, I mean, you're like, whoa.
Oh, shit. How does that happen every time? Oklahoma wagon falls over.
Yeah, wait, who's this against? I can't see the team. Oh, that thing tips.
Yeah, no.
That's a serious wreck.
You know what else is
That was
is
at Oklahoma.
a scary scenario in the pregame is the way they run that Buffalo out against Colorado. Like, I mean, like
they started to shorten it up because it's too much.
It's way too much. I mean,
thing is
the
moving
third
fast.
hand anxiety I have watching that. I mean, I'm like, how are you keeping up first?
It doesn't seem worth it.
And you are one, and this guy is in cowboy boots.
I mean, it's like 10 of them running out there.
And I got to hang on to a buffalo while it's sprinting down the field. I mean, let's say this out loud in 2023. I mean, we can't just get a video of a buffalo sprinting across an open range.
I mean,
we have to do this on the field. If I'm like if I'm the groundskeeper, I'm like, my turf.
Just imagine hearing that thing come at you. Just,
how come they get to do this and LSU doesn't get to bring the tiger just out?
What happened? What ultimately happened of not being allowed to bring the tiger?
Peter.
I mean, they won?
I guess
they
so.
finally won?
Peter.
I think this was LSU like taking the lesser of two evils where, okay, you can have him on campus, but he can't go to the games.
Why?
It's kind of messed up.
Because it's scary.
He loved going to the games.
We don't know that.
Yeah,
you don't know he didn't.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know he didn't like it.
Yeah, he could have loved it. But I think they said that's what was ultimately, it scares him, it gave him anxiety.
They were giving that man false hope, thinking he was about to get him a meal.
Yes.
And he was.
I mean, I guess that can't
eats
be
like a
more.
king.
That can't be
Mike
more
eats
dangerous
like a king.
than Ralphie.
They
Watch all the dudes dressed in cowboy boots come off the back.
This thing is fucking moving.
I mean, look at this thing.
I mean, he's covering some ground.
Look at all these people trying to keep him in the right
Oh,
spot.
God.
Oh,
See,
my
this is.
God,
It doesn't look like
dude.
it's going the way it's supposed to. Controlled chaos.
And he's just running back in the truck.
That boy. Lock it.
Hurry up, get that thing locked.
Is that like a pin? Does he watch the game there?
It's like a trailer that I guess they bring him back to his habitat after they run him out of there.
I can't wait for Colorado to play Texas. You got Bevo and Ralphie both there.
Brandon Hollingsworth.
Mike
No,
buck
the
each
old Mike had anxiety and didn't want to get in the trailer. They had to drug him to get him in, so they stopped doing it. Hashtag bring it back in all caps.
Yeah, let's see if
That
Mike
little trailer-
Severn
I'm
wants
with
to
you.
do it.
That little trailer that they used to bring on the field is still sitting back there.
It's still
behind
sitting
the
there.
is.
It is. It's still sitting there.
Do you
I think Mike is
for
a little
God's
more
sake, they
active, too.
line out the steak in the opponent's mascot. This guy eats like, King Mike.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, can we get 30 minutes in the stadium pregame?
Yeah, make that
I
thing
guess
roar.
I mean, it's certainly worth the trouble.
part-
Didn't they used to kind of like give him a little
I'm sure.
Yeah, you
to
gotta
get him to roar?
I mean, I can imagine what it was like 70s and the 80s.
Well, they
Oh,
let-
my God.
well, the Deeks let him out.
True story. I mean, one of the all-time highlights of my media sports covering life is playing 18 holes with Marcus Allen in Patrick Peterson's golf tournament. And one of the only things that he said about the 1979 matchup of LSU USC, which I believe he was a freshman in, he said, he was like, you crazy motherfuckers had a live tiger outside of the locker room. He was like, everybody was coming back in the locker room and was like, yo,
it's a tiger.
they got
out
a
there.
tiger outside, bro.
It's a tiger in the bathroom.
I mean, they were like, I mean, like, he's like, I can remember, like, California brothers being like, say what?
Bro, I'm not going out there.
I'm not going out there.
I don't do tigers, bro.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not.
I
ain't going out there.
I don't do horses, bro.
Yeah, Marcus Allen telling that story was so.
That's
it was
awesome.
so fun. I was like, dude, everybody talks about the game in '79. I mean, they're like the generation. It's like, I don't really remember the game. I was like, it was like a cut to just the chest of LSU fans because I mean, you hear like 70, like you hear people talk about that '79 game,
that USC game, like
it is. I'm like, well,
it's the pinnacle of LSU football for some
LSU
people.
lose? And like, well, yeah, they did lose, but you don't have no idea how loud it was. I'm like, yeah, I think I probably do.
You lost.
You know, I mean, you lost the game, man.
Is that though?
But I think, like, you know, I mean, that was kind of like the pre-era of LSU football. They had no success,
right?
They had nothing.
Was O.J. Simpson at USC?
No, it was Marcus Allen and was it Rogers? I believe. Marcus Allen they moved Marcus Allen to fullback.
Was Pete Jenkins in this game?
Anthony Munoz was on that team. Ronnie Lott was on that team.
It's John Robinson.
John Robinson was the coach of that team.
Got a great coach over here, John Robinson.
But
quarterback Steven Insminger.
Bring Mike back. Yeah, Insminger was a quarterback. All right, have a great day. Hit that like button, share button, comment button. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Thursday's edition of the show. We'll talk to Chris Blair. I love having these former greats on, man. We'll continue to see if we can't link up with some of these guys and continue to have them on. Skyler Green was fantastic today. It was great to see Sky. Hit that like button, share button, comment button. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning.
Texas A&M.
Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time. It's the hottest show around, we ain't gotta flex. Call up G, we get it done, we earning our respect. Tell recruits to let us in, where they going next. Throw up the L's, now we lit, band playing neck. From the boot to the east to the west coast. No matter where we at, we live, mic'd up for show. Open up the phone lines, come and join the show. Make sure you